This is the point where I want to start segmenting that. I want to have a configuration, a disjoint layer 2 configuration for my UCS right now. So I go back to my UCS manager, and now this disjoint layer 2 configuration, this can only be done via a few very specific steps. Those very specific steps mean that I need to go into the VLAN manager, but that VLAN manager is hidden for some reason. First of all, I go to the LAN cloud. In the LAN cloud, I have an option called uplinks and basically some stuff that I need to configure. So I assume that the VLAN manager would be under the VLAN tab, but it's not there. I have some groups, fabrics, dual mode, all VLANs, no VLAN manager. The only place where you will find the VLAN manager is if you go to LAN cloud here on the left side, go to the uplinks tab and go into the LAN uplinks manager. That will show a new window with the same tabs as I would have here. So LAN uplinks, VLANs, server links, MACs. Basically the same configuration as I would have in a normal LAN cloud configuration. But now if I go to the VLANs tab, I have a new option called the VLAN manager. And now I can start enabling some disjoint layer 2 configurations. So LAN cloud, go to the LAN uplinks tab, go to the LAN uplinks manager. And then in the VLANs tab, I have the VLAN manager. So I know this is a quite complicated set of steps to go there, but this is the only way to get there. I need to be in the LAN uplinks manager to do this. So what do we see? On the left side, we see our physical interfaces, so the port channels and the non-port channel interfaces. And we separate that for Fabric A and Fabric B with the tabs here. Next, we see the whole list of VLANs. Now, nothing has changed right now because everything is allowed everywhere. So we're going to change some things here. I'm going to say the DMZ VLANs only need to go on Ethernet 1/11, which is right here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select all the DMZ VLANs, so 1200 to 1299. And I'm going to say add these to the VLAN. Now it will warn you and say the traffic for the following VLANs will now flow only on the selected uplink interfaces and will not flow on any other uplink interface. All right, I'm okay with that. So do that for me, please. Might take some time, by the way, because it now needs to do all these configuration changes. So I waited a few seconds and now it added that interface to those VLANs. Now it did not change the configuration of my interfaces. Unless I click apply, it is not applied to the switch itself. So this is just creating some tentative configuration, and I really need to click apply first before it is applied to the switch itself. So when I go back to the switch itself and I now check my interface Ethernet 1.11 because that's where I allowed these DMZ VLANs on, right? Hey, nothing changed. That's what I explained earlier. When I change that VLAN manager thing, all it does it removes those specific VLANs from the other links. So here you see that VLANs 1200 to 1299 are now removed from this trunk. And I only allow all the other VLANs. But the problem now is that this DMZ uplink, the DMZ VLANs will flow there perfectly fine, but also all the other VLANs. And on my uplink configuration, here on my Nexus 7K, I only allowed those 100 VLANs. That's not what I want, because the traffic pinning for production VLANs can still choose either the Nexus 5K or choose the Nexus 7K. They don't care because the VLAN allowed list on the Nexus 7K link did not change. It just removed a couple VLANs from the others. So be very careful. If they ask you, let's make sure that the DMZ VLANs will go across that specific link, they also immediately mean do not allow all the other VLANs there, because it's not going to work, because probably this port that you configured has a different VLAN allowed list. So the port pinning will fail and you fail the test. So your disjoint layer 2, be sure to always configure two sides of the thing. Allow your VLANs on the link where you want to go them on and remove it from all the others. So again, to finish my configuration before this will actually work, I need to assign all the other VLANs going on the other ports. So let's go back to my UCS configuration. And I will go out of the way again. What I mean is, I want to allow the production VLANs to go on my port channel. So all the other VLANs, besides, except for the DMZ VLANs, I want to allow these on the production links. So the port channel 123. Again, we need to wait for a couple seconds. Take some time. And by the way, do not forget to configure Fabric B. All I did now is I configured Fabric A and I allowed those DMZ VLANs to go on the Ethernet 1/11, but I also need to configure Fabric B, of course. It's not very visible here, but you still need to configure your Fabric B connections as well. So please pay attention to that. So we're still waiting on the change. Takes a while. It remains a Java tool. So again, this could happen to you in the lab. If you need to configure these 100 VLANs, for example, you need to wait. So now it is okay. So the configuration is applied. So now I apply the configuration fully. And if I check now, I will see that on my Ethernet 1/11, those production VLANs are now removed. And if I check port channel 123, I see nothing has changed. So all this command did was do a switchport trunk allowed VLAN remove on all the other uplinks for these specific set of VLANs. So again, if we look at this, we have currently it's VLAN 1199 and 1299. Now if we start taking a look, now port channel 123 allows these VLANs and the Nexus 7K does not allow them. So now if traffic needs to be pinned to VLAN 1100, it will always choose port channel 123 because that's the only port where it is allowed on. And for the other VLANs, so port 1200 will always point to the Nexus 7K because that's the only port where that is allowed. So very important decision here. And it's very important to keep that in mind when you're doing this. A lot of people make mistakes in this. And again, do not forget to configure both Fabric A and Fabric B for it. And use your CLI use the CLI to your advantage. Use that to verify things and to see if your actual configuration has been applied. So like I said, if I did that okay, and I clicked the window away without applying it, there might be a message saying for, hey, you have some changes that are not committed yet, that are not allowed yet or not configured yet. Please be aware that your configuration still needs to be applied. Do you want me to apply it or do you want me to remove it? So if we do that, here for example, if I say production VLAN there, and I click the window away, it will warn me for, let's say, hey, there are uncommitted changes. Do you want me to close and discard the changes? That's for yes. For no, it means that I will still apply them. But the only problem is this window can show up at times that you do not expect it. If you see this window, it may or may not be related to a change that you did. What I mean with that is that the software is not bug-free. So at some point you did not change anything and suddenly you get this window and you're like, right, what if I click yes? Do I remove anything? Yeah, you need to get around that. If you know for sure that you did not change anything, then just click yes and it will discard the changes. And if you did not make changes, then that's okay. But be aware that when that window pops up, did I change anything or not? And did I apply it or not?